Hello, I'm Ramie.
And I'm Beth.
And this is Brother Knows Quest, the podcast where I, your host, introduce my sister to the wonderful world of tabletop role-playing games. Beth, do you have any idea what we're talking about today?
Didn't you say something about a monster?
I said we were getting out of the space thing because you didn't much care for space stuff. So we're talking about this.
I don't know how to pronounce that.
Vaesen or Vaesen? I'm not from this country, so I really don't know. Scandinavia kind of area.
It says Nordic.
Yeah, it's Scandinavia kind of area. It's published by Free League Publishing. It covers, Nordic Horror Roleplaying. That's what it says on the back. And the book is written by Niels Heinz. I have difficulty pronouncing that as well. And it's based on the work of Swedish illustrator and author
Johan Egerkrans?
Johan Egerkrans. I don't know how to pronounce that. I apologize. It's, it's dark, gothic setting in Nordic folklore. The myths of Scandinavia. And it runs on the Year Zero engine like we talked about the last couple of weeks. So it'll make that a little easier. Europe, but not really ours. It's an alternate reality, kind of like a lot of things we talk about, old gods of Appalachia and all that, where the myths are real. The people in this era know what lurks in the dark, and they know to fear it. There's 10 ready-to-use archetypes, like your characters. The rules are quick and flavorful. We know that from the Year Zero engine already. There's a gazetteer. It's kind of like, it's all about the mythic north setting of a town of Uppsala, and it goes on and stuff like that. And this is not historically accurate, like I said, and the stories do not take place in any specific period in the 1800s. Steamboats, trains, as well as political and philosophical movements from the end of the 19th century were being mixed with earlier phenomena. Humans have shared their land with Vaesen, which is trolls, ghosts, lindworms, and other creatures inhabiting the woods and lakes. Like humans, these have had their ups and downs with one another. Many have assisted the farmers on their back-breaking labor and made the dark winter nights more bearable, with enchanted music and gifts in the form of strange handicrafts to blacksmiths and lute players. Few have actually seen them. It's kind of like you hear about the strangers that leave starving campers food or something like that in the woods. It's a Vaesen. They're imperceptible to the human eye. A few chosen can see them, but mostly they just choose whether to show themselves or not to normal people. There are tales and songs that tell of the rules that must be followed as not to anger the Vaesen. Something lately has been altering that balance. Vaesen have started attacking villages and destroying homes, factories, and train stations. I would say it is the factories and train stations that have caused the problem. Things stayed the same for centuries, and then these things show up, and all of a sudden things go wrong somehow. Probably encroaching on their territory, train tracks, and pollution. Some think they've gone mad. Others that the end of times are nigh, which seems to be a go-to for any time something bad happens. They have a whole section in here about the different Vaesen you come across. You are a person with the sight, meaning that you have the ability to see the Vaesen, even when they're trying to remain invisible. You ever watched the show Grimm?
No.
Okay, well, he's a Grimm, and he can see these creatures like this, so you're kind of like that. Just a normal lawyer would be a witch in his eyes. Those who have the sight are sometimes referred to as Thursday's children. In the game, a session normally includes horror, mystery, and suspense, so if your crew isn't into that kind of thing, then maybe this isn't the game for you. You've also heard that there used to be an organization known as the Society, and you've decided to reestablish it. The Society existed for hundreds of years, made up of people with the sight who devoted their time to studying and expelling Vaesen. Sounds a little mean if they used to get along pretty well. You go to an old castle, I'm not going to try to pronounce it, in Uppsala, and about 10 years ago, the place was abandoned. Everybody just gave up on the Society. No one knows why. You've tracked down a former member of the Society, though, an elderly woman named Lena Elfklint, I think is how you say her name. And she gives you the keys and the deed to the castle and says, here, if you want to run the place, have at it, but she refuses to leave herself. So you make the castle your headquarters. It's part of the game. You must maintain a facade of normalcy in front of your friends and relatives in Uppsala. If they ever found out about your alleged ability to see supernatural creatures, they would sooner or later have you locked up in the asylum as well.
That sounds normal.
Yeah, must have been reading too many novels. And your job is to protect the human from the Vaesen. But it's not black and white. They're often victims themselves of human activities. You probably should take a stand to do what's right, but that's up to you, how you play that, I'm sure. Your weapons can help defeat human adversaries such as robbers and rebels. Apparently there's a rebel problem. Against Vaesen, however, you may as well be carrying sticks and scraps of paper. They usually take some sort of ritual or combination of thing. I recommend watching the show Grimm, at least the first season before you play this, to get an idea of what someone off the site might be. So you probably should turn to the tales.
There's puppies.
And rituals of the old days to figure out what you should do. Now, this is going to be a fairly short one because I'm not going to cover the rules, really, but I'm going to cover some of the classes. You have the academic. I don't remember what they call them. Not classes. So pretty much classes. You have the academic, which your motivation should be charting the unknown, proving my critics wrong, and becoming famous. Those are your motivations. Your trauma could be someone's name I don't recognize, turned you into a rat, aged by magic of a mermaid, and watched your partner being torn apart by a giant. Your dark secret, if that wasn't trauma enough, is addiction to drugs, stole or falsified a document to get research results, and you're hunted by Vaesen yourself. Your main attribute is logic, and your main skill is learning. Your talents is bookworm and knowledge, researching, erudite. You have doctor, which probably should be like the academic, but less mean. These are suggestions, by the way. You can make your own motivation, traumas, and stuff like that. I like the suggestions. It kind of gives you an idea what the character's all about. Your doctor. Some of the first names they could recommend is Alfred, Friedrich, Carl, Margaret, and I'm not going to try to pronounce the other ones because it's impossible for me. Motivation, exploring and describing the world, aiding the weak and afflicted, and strengthening the society and becoming its leader. Wow, a doctor? Here's your trauma. A corpse came back to life during an autopsy. That would be traumatic indeed. Operated on a person with donkey ears and hooves. Saw your destiny in the eyes of a dying mermaid. Lots of mermaids coming up in these.
Mm-hmm.
Your dark secret. Has 2 separate personalities. Jekyll and Hyde. Involved in illicit affairs. Maybe you sell the drugs to the other guy. And unnatural lust. They're implying you might be a necrophiliac, aren't they? Or maybe you're just attached to Vaesen. That's not a problem. Your main attribute also is logic. Your main skill is medicine. You have talents like army medicine, chief physician, and emergency medicine. Well, you're all about medicine. That you are a doctor. You have the hunter. Their motivation is things that attacked my family must be destroyed. Live in tune with nature. Wants to bag some fantastic game. Your trauma is attacked by the branches of an ash tree wife.
I was just looking at her. She looks like the witch off of the Suicide Squad.
Yeah. Broke your leg in the forest, but was guided home by a will-o'-the-wisp. Oh, we covered those a few weeks ago on another podcast.
Yep.
Captured at dawn by a mountain troll and was stuck in its petrified arms. Well, that's alarming. Your dark secret is, I sold my soul, cannot control my fits of rage, and has children with a Vaesen. Your main attribute is perception. You're good at ranged combat. Your talents is bloodhound, herbalist, and marksman. I kind of like that one. It has a lot of mix-match things. And then you have the occultist, which also sounds fun. I believe she is in the verge of sacrificing a bunny rabbit in this photo.
Yeah.
Motivation, learning about Vaesen, understanding myself, and power. Trauma, was hit by corrosive venom while trying to steal a lindworm egg. The family farm is being run by a grumpy house niece.
That's how I thought it was pronounced when I was reading it.
Yeah, the family farm is being run by a grumpy house niece.
I don't know what it is, though.
Was attacked by a night raven who's infected you with a febrile disease. You've just been struck with a fever. Your dark secret is guilty of heinous crime. My power controls me. And you're a changeling, which we know what that is. Your main attribute is precision. Stealth is also your main skill. You know, talents are magic, trick, medium, and striking fear. I am an occultist. Be wary of me.
I looked up the niece, or however that's pronounced word.
Yeah.
It is a mythological creature from Scandinavian folklore. It's a type of house spirit or gnome, known to be mischievous yet benevolent.
Okay, I mean, that's their
and
big
it's small
trauma?
and bearded.
That don't sound like a trauma to me, or dark secret. And then you have an officer. His motivation is make my father proud of me, my friends need me, seek out danger and death. That sounds like a weird thing to be motivated to do. Trauma, almost drowned when your ship was dragged down by a sea monster, lost all your men to an angry giant, saw dead warriors rise again on the battlefield. Now that one sounds more alarming. I could see why you'd join somebody who might stop that. Dark secret, you're a deserter. Well, I would desert too if my men rose to fight me back, or any of these things happened, I would desert. If you didn't know this stuff was existing at the time, like most people aren't supposed to. This seems like a fair reason to think, okay, everything's over, time to move on. Dark secret, deserter, cannot cope with filth and disorder. Oh dear, you don't need to be in the woods or in the military. Killed a defenseless enemy. And your main attributes are precision. Ranged combat is your main skill. Talents are battle-hardened, gentleman, and tactician. A priest. Oh, I love playing as a priest in something, especially if it's faced in real life and not a true fantasy world. Motivation. Performing a sacred mission. Cleansing my tarnished soul. Understanding God's creation. That seems like a good Those are not bad, you know. None of those, I guess the sacred mission could be terrible. It depends on what you choose. Your trauma: hurt someone after being enthralled by a witch. Watched a church grim tear apart some thieves trying to steal the church silver. The third owner of a spiritus, serving the church to avoid being twisted. I feel like we should know what that is. Dark secret: the devil speaks to me. I have stolen my identity. Ensnared by Vaesen. Main attribute: empathy. Your main skill is observation. And your talents are absolution, blessing, and confessor. All those sound so fun. Private detective. So you want to play as Sherlock Holmes in Scandinavia? Oh, they didn't even name Sherlock as one of the names that you suggested. That's a pity. Motivation: getting away from my family. Undercovering the truth. And a thrill seeker. Trauma: heard the cry of myling.
Milling is how I would think.
During your search for a missing child. Had nightmares and woke up breathless and mare-ridden. Came face to face with a werewolf. Your dark secret: there's a price on my head. Constant adulterer and a drug addict. So they made him really, really Sherlock-y there near the end. His main attribute is logic. Main skill is investigation. Talents: eagle eye, elementary, focused.
A Milling is a creature from Scandinavian folklore believed to be the restless spirit of an unbaptized child.
Oh, dear God.
Legend says they would seek out living people and compel them to carry the child's remains to a concentrated burial ground.
No.
Consecrated.
Consecrated.
Consecrated burial ground, often burning the living person until the task was completed.
I mean, it's not a terrible thing. A servant. This one sounds fun. He's in the picture, he's handing off a bottle of what is clearly poison to someone on a silver platter. It's got a skull on it and everything in it. I think it's a skull in it. Your motivation: protecting my master. Curiosity: an urge to help humans and Vaesen alike. That's honorable. That's exactly what we should be doing. Trauma: bitten by a brook horse. No idea what that is. Lost a master to an alluring song of the neck. Served a household plagued by changelings. Everybody in it is just, you don't know which one of the babies are real. Dark secret: I murdered someone. Probably all the changelings. I'm persecuted for my religion. Spying for a foreign power. You're working for the British. His main attribute is physique. His main skill is force. And your talents are loyal, robust, tough as nails. You have to be to serve people. Oh, a vagabond, which is just a teenager or a child in the picture with a very Huckleberry Finn kind of look. Motivation: avenging my family. Exposing supernatural secrets. Being liked. You need to be in social media. He's a TikToker. Trauma: saw a revenant raised from its grave. Forever in love with a woodwife? You're a child. At least in the photo. And I served a week inside of a troll bag. Dark secret: stolen identity. Terminal illness: a Vaesen kills everyone I love. Your attributes are physique, main skill, manipulation. Talent: hobo tricks. Suspicious. Well-traveled. Some of these only make sense if you play an adult. Otherwise, you're weird. A writer. Motivation: finding a certain Vaesen. Researching a book. Revenge. Trauma: angered fairies who put you to sleep and suck your blood. I think it's a vampire. Cursed by homeless Vatir to write a book in your own blood. Oh no, the Necronomicon. Heard the song of the neck, but failed to write down the lyrics. I'm sure that means something. Dark secret: I record and use the secrets and weaknesses of my friends. Wanted for revolutionary ideas. My life's work is a lie. I'd say the revolutionary ideas for this lady in the picture is simply owning a book and knowing how to write in it. Or read, for that matter, back in this time. We covered that too in another podcast. Main attribute: empathy. Main skill: inspiration. Talents: automatic writing, journalist, and wordsmith. I like the names of those. And that's really all I got to say about this. I just wanted to cover some of these because it gives you an idea of the world you're in. And think of the Black Forest? Dark Forest? I think it's Black Forest. It's a Scandinavian kind of area thing. Real spooky. You get the kind of Brothers Grimm out of that area. And this book is all about that, but think of 1800s. I loved it. They also have, I can't remember what it was called. It's got a lighter color. This one's a dark green color. It's an add-on for this, and it's all about the UK kind of fairies and stuff like that. But it's just an add-on to Vaesen. I like the sound of this, don't you?
It does sound more interesting than the space.
Yeah. I thought you would like it.
I found the brook horse. You said you didn't know what it was. It's a horse.
Uh-huh.
And it's normally found in brooks and lakes. Apparently, it can stretch out to have more water or more riders.
Oh, that's useful.
They like to lure people in and give them crazy rides, like run off with them and try to drown them.
Here, let's see if you can survive this.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I would enjoy meeting one. I bet there's movies about stuff like this. A lot of the, Nordic stuff we talk about in folklore have turned into movies. But
they also have razor sharp teeth.
Why wouldn't they, Beth? They live in water, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I've seen people play this a lot. I've never actually read it myself. I have read some Year Zero stuff, but not this one. I love not just the artwork in it. I love the
artwork is very.
The rules. I know the rules. They're easy and fairly easy to run with. But the artwork is great. The paper and the binding is excellent.
I noticed that. Also, the mare that you were talking about, the picture in here, that is the creepy one.
Mm-hmm.
It's really creepy. It also says that it's called Mare's Kiss. The attack enchants the victim, works like the trollcraft passion, where the victim tries to protect the mare. So apparently it can, I guess, manipulate you with magic.
Yeah.
Into protecting it.
Fairies kind of trick people into doing stuff like that. I can see how this would be a good fit for the United Kingdom one too. It's just a lot of the lore crossover, and we need more Chinese and just Asian in general stuff like this too. I would like for them to do that, but they have their own, to us, really weird monsters and supernatural things. I never can pronounce them, but I can't pronounce the ones from Europe either, so it don't matter. I recommend it. I don't know if it's got a starter kit yet, but I know I will put a Drive-Thru-RPG affiliate link PDF version of it in the description if you're interested in that. Any other particularly cool looking monsters you've seen in there, Vaesen?
I mean, they're all kind of creepy. There was a picture of the Nisei or whatever.
Nice?
Yeah, it looks like a skinny version of Grumpy the dwarf.
Okay.
There's also the neck.
What is that?
Well, it looks like a big-footed goblin playing a fiddle on a rock in the middle of an ocean or a lake with something in its hair, maybe moles.
Oh, God.
I don't know.
Yeah. I'd probably just rather deal with a little gnome thing. It makes my house a mess sometimes, or tricks me.
It can apparently transform into animals living in and around the water, so it doesn't always look like a creepy little water troll.
What was it? The writer didn't take down the lyrics, and so I guess the curse stuck or something that he gave her?
Yeah.
I don't know how it works. I didn't read all of it. I watched some people play it, but I tried not to because I didn't know if I'd be running it or playing it. I didn't want to ruin the monsters for myself. So you would play this if I ran it. I mean, I'm going to look up and see if I can find a one-shot. I'm pretty sure there also, I didn't read it, that there's some adventures in the back, some simple ones. I might be wrong. Is there? Is that what it said?
That's what it looks like to me.
Okay. Yeah, some simple things like most core rule books will have something simple like that to in the groove if you don't have a starter set. I think that's all I had to say. Beth gave her approval on it compared to any space game that I've been talking about or sci-fi themed game. If you like what you heard here, as I just read off some character information pretty much, we will have a link in the description for the affiliate link. Also, we will have a link tree link, which will take you to all of our socials and our other podcasts. We have Leveling Duo. It's a podcast I do with my friend Dakota about video games that we really enjoy. I have Horrific History and Hauntings with Beth, where she tells me about exactly what's in the name, horrific history, hauntings, and stuff like that. We've tried to cover some spooky stuff for Halloween. By the time you get this, it'll be a few weeks after Halloween, I think. But you can go back and listen to them. They're pretty good. We've been streaming on Twitch and putting the videos up on YouTube afterwards. The first one we did was pretty rough. I didn't realize Beth's mic was so bad. So by the time you get to it, we may just redo that. We only done the first 2 missions of Halo Reach. Yeah. We're going to go through and play that.
I would not post that.
I'll take it back down then. Yeah. So that'll be gone. We'll redo the first 2 missions. The ones you listen to will be fine for the most part.
It was just irritating to listen to.
Oh, it was terrible. The mic kept cracking.
You couldn't hear anything. I sounded like Rice Krispies.
I found out it's because I had Dolby Atmos on my headset. And once I cut that off, it fixed it.
So it was a you problem?
It was a me problem. I like my controller back.
No.
But also, anytime you want to reach out to us, any of those social links in the link tree, you could reach out to any of us, ask for whoever you want to talk to, or tell us what we should cover. Tell us if you'd like to see us stream something. Like I said, we are open to suggestions. Me and her just playing Halo, or Halo the Master Chief Collection, because we played Halo Combat Evolved when we were younger, and we figured we'd play the whole series from start. I have played them all, a lot, but she hasn't. So it'll be our first time for her. It still makes me a little bit rusty. I haven't played them that recently. Controls change from game to game because of their age. If you want to see or hear any of that, go there. If you'd like to see our main webpage, it's also in the link tree, the very first link you see. It will have all 3 of our podcasts, places for you to subscribe to them, or you can find us on YouTube. The link to that's also in there. If you want to donate, main website is the option to do that. I've been Ramie. Thank you for listening.
And I'm Beth.
And we're off.